Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're going to look at Duel Under the Stars, the memoir of a Luftwaffe night pilot in World War II. Real quick before we do get into it though, I'd just like to preface, the intention of this book series is not to do the most in-depth book coverage you've ever seen. It is more to give you some general ideas, things I noticed in these books that stuck out to me or were different overall. And at the end I'll give you my overall impressions. And hopefully if these are books that you've seen, you'll get an idea if there's something that you'd personally like to read. So anyways, let's get into it. This is a really great book. I think overall it was really, really good. The only book so far I have read about one of the German pilots, though. It's by Wilhelm Jonen. It starts in 1941. He does give a brief overview of kind of how the night war developed. You can get an idea for the print here. It does include some pictures throughout. You can see there. Some of them are personal photos, some of them are more photos of group members and events and things. Not too many photos though overall. It's definitely not a picture book. And you see his plane throughout the series, I should say throughout his time served, was a Bf-110. I believe it was an F-1, however I'm not going to say with certainty. Some really nice things that he noted in there were the developing phases of the night war, and just how the combat changed. There was no radar at the beginning, so he takes note of that. And, everything is off of sight. They had to develop their night senses and things like that. But by the middle to end of the war, radar became more of a thing. So he talks about how the enemy were countering it, as well as their tactics with it as well. And he does really go in depth about, his own tactics as far as, speed, how his attack angles are. So if you have interest in things like that, this is definitely probably a book for you as well. He does serve all the way through to the end of the war. He starts the war in Western Europe and then eventually is transferred to the East. He becomes a night fighter commander. He gets his own squadron. And they mostly are tasked with hunting down Soviet planes that are flying nighttime supply runs to partisans and whatnot. He mentions many British planes that he had fought in the West, and then as he gets shipped to the East, he has his first encounter with American planes. I don't want to give any spoilers away, however, the introduction of the American planes causes some confusion among some German pilots that they hadn't anticipated, and I'll leave it at that. Anyways, as I said, I'm going to try and keep these videos pretty brief. Lots more books to come. I'll just read the back for you as well. It says, a fine account, not of a Nazi automaton, but of a young pilot whose fears, anxieties, triumphs, and pain are every bit as human as those we have fighting against. As those he was fighting against. James Holland. And then from Wilhelm Jonen himself, the enemy bomber grew larger in my sights, and the rear gunner was sprayed by my guns just as he had opened fire. The rest was merely a matter of seconds. The bomber fell like a stone out of the sky and exploded on the ground. The nightmare came to an end. So just an idea as to how he personally writes these descriptions. It is really interesting to see as well how he talks about the enemy and his noticing of how, their reactions to his firing and things like that, or them realizing that he's there. Anyways, though, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I would definitely recommend Duel Under the Stars if you're interested in the night war, if you're interested in aviations, if you're interested in 110s, you're interested in the German side of things. There's a lot of unique things to this book. Anyways, you guys have a great day, and I will catch you next time.